Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm back with part 10, which this should be the last part 10 of the tutorial series for how I recreated the Dungeons and Dragons Eye of the Beholder game character generation process in RPG Maker MZ. Again, as I've mentioned, Eye of the Beholder, I think was one of the first games I ever played on a PC, and it was like from 1990, 1991. If you have not watched the previous parts of the tutorial, I would recommend you do so, because a lot of the parts of common events are the same concepts, the same mechanics, the same principles are repeated throughout. I try not to explain things that I've already explained before. I just go over them enough to basically show what's happening. And as I said early in the early parts of this tutorial, I'm not showing how to do all these things. It's presumed that you already know how to do switches and variables and conditional branches and things like that. So if you don't, it will be much more difficult to recreate this if that's what you wanted to do, or even take parts of it. Without knowing some of those foundational basics. So I encourage you, look at the previous parts. Again, if these videos are helpful to you, please consider liking, subscribing, getting notifications, leaving comments. I do like to hear if these things that I'm doing are helping other people, and I try to really do things that I haven't seen other people do. So I haven't seen tutorials for, and just things that I've experimented with. I know they work, and I want to share those with other people in case it helps them. And as I usually say, I'm not saying this is the best way to do something, not saying this is the only way to do something, and I'm not saying that plugins couldn't do it easier or more efficiently or even better. But this is just a way of that where you can use events to do these things, with some scripting, and also using the default plugins that come with MZ. So you don't have to download any other plugins, you don't have to buy any plugins or things like that. All right, so again, this is part 10. This should be the last part, and this part is we're at the very tail end of, now we can view characters that we've created. So we get to a particular spot in our character generation process. As I show here on the screen, there are 2 characters have been created, 2 more can be created. So if I clicked here, one of these 2, it would be to start generating another character. If I click on one of these characters, Priscilla or Reed, then that will be accessing the view option. So select the box of the character you wish to create or view. So if I just click Reed, it's going to show me what information I created when I created that character. So human male, paladin, here's the attributes, armor class, hit points, level, and now I have the choice of either deleting this character or just closing and keeping them, right? So I can, and if I delete, they're completely gone. There's no check of, are you sure you want to delete, or anything like that. That's the way Eye of the Beholder was. And now you would have to create a new character there. And once all 4 of these are created, then this will have a play button, and you'll be able to play. So I forgot to check to see if I had already covered the naming the character. I forgot if I already did that in a tutorial, so I will just end up doing that quickly, and then do the view character options and the keep and the close option, and that will wrap everything up. All right, so how are we doing this? So here in my common events, we're down here, and very quickly I will just do the name input. So as part of one of these other common events, when you're actually, I think when you're keeping the character, it's name input processing. Right, you have to name the character. Or actually, maybe it's not keep. I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's at some point in time, it's going to call this common event name input processing. I think I covered this, but if I didn't, it's very, very fast because this event is very, very short. So all it's doing is allows the player to input a name for the current character. So we're going to have our conditional branches to see which box we're in. CC box 1 switches on, then it's just going to use the event command, name input processing, and now I know I covered this. I'm pretty remember showing this. This is the name of the actor in the database that you are changing, and then this is how many characters. So it can go beyond 10. I think the maximum is 16. So this calls the name input processing. And then what this is doing is it's just using the text picture plugin to show the name of the 10th actor, right? The name of the 10th actor in the database, right? So it's not party member because I don't have party members. It's just the actor, all right? And that's the entire conditional branch for this common event, and then you have to do that 4 times. So if CC box 2 is on, this stays the same except you're changing the actor name that you are changing, and of course the actor number, right? The ID number of the actor from the database that you are calling, /n for name. Box 3, if CC box 3 is on, name 3, right? I just did it that way because it was easier, and then box 4. So just to show you, for instance, in case I didn't do it last time, but I think I did, under actors, I just have extra actors here that I'm using so that I can change the name and work off of that. You can also use actor names for other things. If you want the player to be able to input something that you're then going to store in a variable, you can actually use the actor names for that. And then that's what name input processing allows you to do. And then you can use that player input, whatever it is you're having them input, so you can do other things with it. So that's one of the tricks that people do. And if you're back here, and again, name input processing is just on page 3 of the event commands. Name input processing lets you pick the actor that you want to rename, and this goes all the way up to 16. Yeah, so you have a max of 16 without some sort of modification, okay? So that's all that the name input common event is doing. So that was pretty quick and easy. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So now we're at the option of you want to view characters, because we covered the reroll, the modify, the faces, the keep. We did all that. We covered these modifications, the plus, the minus, and the OK. So first, when you are going to click on a portrait box that has a character already created, it's going to call this common event view characters. Okay, so 402. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm deleting this. Delete is unnecessary. Updates. Yeah, we actually don't need this one. So what happens is when let's see. We are keeping, let me just double check this. So when I keep a character, we go down here. Yeah, no, exactly. So when we are keeping a character, we are going to, it determines, when we went over this in part 9, it determines, do I need to show a empty portrait box with a yellow border, or do I show the portrait that was selected when the character was created? And then those are going to be clickable. So you'll notice that if the portraits are showing, right, this is the portraits, it's calling common event 403, 404, 405, 406, which are these. So I initially built this view character common event and then figured out I didn't actually need it with the way I changed things. So we're not going to use that view common event. So when you click on a portrait box that has a portrait in it, depending on which one you clicked will depend on which one of these is called, and they're almost identical. So view CC1 allows the player to view a created character at any time. So once they're created, they can view it. Well, except when you're in the character generation process. So if you're actively generating a character, you cannot click on a portrait on the left side of the screen and then start viewing a character. You have to actually wait until you're finished creating the character. So this is going to turn all view CC switches off. So again, because we could be clicking, different ones, I don't know which switch was on before, so we're just going to turn them all off. Then we're going to turn the appropriate View CC switch on. So we're going to turn View CC1 on. So that's telling us that, hey, I'm reviewing the first character that portrait, a box available that I can create. I'm viewing that character. Then make it so other 3 boxes or portraits can't be selected, because again, when you're viewing a character, we don't want to be able to click on another character to view, or click on a box to start creating a character. So again, since the pictures were shown and the button picture plugin was assigned, those are clickable until you either erase the picture or show the picture again. Right? So this is what I'm doing here. I'm going to basically re-show the pictures. So if CC complete is on, switch, that means a character has been created for the second box. Then it's going to use the script that we've seen before to show picture 95 with the variable used for the portrait ID of the that we selected, and it's going to show that. So it's going to re-show that, but there's no button picture plugin, so it's not clickable anymore. Else, meaning that if CC2 complete is off, then it's just going to show that yellow border, the empty box with the yellow border, and again, it's not clickable anymore because we've shown a picture, but we haven't used the button picture plugin to make it clickable. And it repeats that for each of the other 2 boxes. We don't have to do CC1 because we're in CC1 box. So if CC3 complete switches on, show the portrait. Otherwise, else, show that yellow border, and it's not clickable anymore. If CC complete switches on, CC4 complete switches on, show the portrait, or else show the yellow border, empty box, and again, it's not clickable. So that's what these are doing. It's re-showing the appropriate portrait or box, and it's no longer clickable. So then we have these series of scripts that are checking for something. So turn on switch for multi-class based on the class. So I've shown in the past this idea of using a script to check multiple switches. Or I'm sorry, this is you can check multiple switches, but this is checking multiple variables. So it's basically saying if the variable 746 is equal to the string fighter cleric, and then the 2 parallel lines here is the or if the variable 746 is the class for CC box 1. So if the variable 746 is equal to fighter mage or fighter thief, so it's basically just the classes that are multi-class. So if the class variable for CC box 1, 746 all the way down, if that is equal to any of these, then we're going to turn the switch for multi-class to true, meaning turning it on. Else, otherwise, we're turning that switch off. Okay, so it should be off anyway, but hey, just in case, right? Just in case, turning it off. So that's what this script is doing. Then, because again, since this is the only way the game, well, the way I programmed it, the only way the game can figure out the character you're viewing, are they a multi-class character, right? Because after we're done creating a character, we turn off all the switches. because we reuse them. Instead of having, a multi-class switch for character 1, character 2, character 3, we're just reusing the general multi-class switch, and then this is a way of detecting if the character you created is in fact a multi-class character by checking the value of the variable for the class. So now this next one is trying to see, do we need to turn on a switch for strength bonus? So it's the same concept if the variable 746 is any of the fighter types. So the string that's stored in class, right, CC1 class, if it's fighter cleric or fighter mage or fighter thief, so any of the fighter, ranger, or paladin, then if it's any of those, then turn the switch for strength bonus, okay, switch 348, to true, turn it on, else turn that switch off. Again, it should be off, but regardless, just to be safe. So that's what this is doing, so that we know, do we have to have a strength bonus? So then the next part, again, we're just dealing with CC box 1 here, so we don't have to, we have a common event for each one. So now this we've seen from other common events. This is just going to redisplay on the screen all of the information about the character. So we're going to erase picture 10, which is the instructions about, click on the character you want to create or view or whatever. So we're erasing picture 10. Then we're going to show the character portrait of the character that we're viewing. So it has a variable assigned for the image ID. So we're going to use a script to show the picture in the appropriate spot. Then we're going to use, these are things we've already seen in other common events. We're going to basically use text picture to show the race. We're going to use it to show the class. And again, these variables are unique to CC1. Then we're going to have our conditional branch to check if additional strength bonus values are needed for fighter types, right, with a strength of 18. This has been used before. I already went over it. It's just trying to say if the strength is 18 and if the strength bonus is on, then show the strength plus the extra strength bonus variable. Otherwise, just show the strength, and that means the bonus was off. And if the strength isn't 18, then just show the strength. Okay, that's what that's doing. The rest of these are just showing the rest of the information: intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, AC, and HP. And again, none of these have red text, right? They're all white text because you're just re-showing what the character is. Then this, we've seen this before in previous common events. If the multi-class switch is on, then this is just trying to figure out, do I need to show 1 level, 2 levels, or 3 levels, right, for multi-class characters. So if multi-class switch is off, it would run this one, the else branch, just show the level for a single level. If multi-class switch is on, if MC3, meaning triple class, is off, it would do this one, so it's showing 2 levels. If MC3 is on, then it's going to show the 3 levels. Okay? And again, these variables are unique to CC box 1. Show buttons for delete and OK and make them selectable, because again, now that you're viewing the character, you have to either be able to select delete to get rid of it, or select close to basically close the view and go back to either picking another character or viewing another character, creating another character or viewing another character. So this is just showing the asset, the blank button that I have. Then this is putting the text delete on top of the button. And then this is using the button picture to make that button, the background button, selectable. And it's going to, so you notice 31, 31, and it's calling common event 421, which is delete. Then we're going to show the blank button and the text close on top of it, and then using the button picture, 33 for the button, 33, and calling common event 422 to close. And that's the rest. That's all of that event. So you can copy. Well, actually, you have to figure out what's easier for you, because some of this information was repeated, like this portion, for instance, was repeated from other common events that might be easier to select from. So maybe it's easier to copy and paste view CC1 as view CC2 and then keep some of it and then delete some of it and pull it from other common events. I don't know, whatever's easier for you. But so view CC2, this is going to stay the same. This would have to be updated because it's a unique switch for view CC2. And then instead of having conditional branches for CC2, CC3, and CC4, you have to replace the CC2 with CC1, right? Because we're on CC2. So now we're doing CC1. Show that picture in the correct spot or show the yellow border, depending on if the CC1 complete is on or off. But this would stay the same from view CC1, and this would stay the same from view CC1. Then this is the same from view CC1, except this variable is different, right? So these variable is different because there's a different class variable for CC box 2. And yeah, no, then that was right. Those stay the same. And then of course this would be the same except for changing the variable. I'm sorry, no. Oh, you know what? Wait a second. That's a mistake. So I caught another mistake. So if the class 746, it should be 747 because we're on CC2. So 746, yep, that's a mistake. And it's repeated here. So that's I'm glad I'm doing this because this was another mistake. So this should be 747 just like this. So I'm going to fix these now because it's really easy to do. 747, 747, 747. Yep, that was a mistake that was uncaught before. Okay, and then the switches they stay the same. Yeah, the switches stay the same. So you're still setting the same multi-class switch that's generic, or the strength bonus switch that's generic. So that stays the same. Okay, perfect. So that got fixed. And then these are your variables specifically for CC box 2. So we're still erasing picture 10. We're still showing the same portrait, same image number for the portrait, but a different variable. And then these, of course, would change because these are the variables for CC box 2. And then, of course, this would have to change, right? CC2 strength, and your variables would change. And then these variables should all be updated to the appropriate ones for CC box 2. So again, it might be quicker to copy and paste and then just change. I'm not sure. And then this is the conditional branches stay the same, but the variables for the levels are different because it's CC box 2. So these variables would change. And then this would stay identical. These would all be the same because it's the same button, it's the same text, it's calling the same common event. Okay, so I'm going to fix these ones too while we're here because just because while I'm doing it, you do the same steps. Okay, so I'm just going to skim down through here. CC1 is on, CC2 is on, skip CC3, CC4. So those are all good. Yep, those are all good. This is 748 for CC3. This should be 748. So I'm going to update that. 748. Okay, so this was the second batch of mistake that I found as I was making these tutorials. So I'm really glad that I did this. I'm hoping it helps people too, but I also want to catch these mistakes as I go through it. So that's fixed. And then, of course, these are the variables for CC box 3. So those are being updated. Those are being updated. That is a mistake too, because, wait a second, CC box 3, there should be 3 here, and there should be, right? There should be 3 here, and there should be, oh, no, no, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong spot. This is fine. Those are fine. You just have to update your variables. Scared me there for a minute. These all have to be updated, these variables, right, for the CC3 attributes. And then here's the multi-class. There we go. Sorry, confused. The conditional branches don't change, but the variables change. Okay, perfect. And then this stays the same. Okay, good. And then I'm going to fix this one. So again, CC4, so now it's CC1 complete, CC2 complete, CC3 complete. Then this is 749, and then this should be 749. So fix that. Okay. Give it a double check here. Okay, there's that. So basically what I did was I copied and pasted, and then I forgot. I think I might have added this strength bonus option afterwards, and then I copied and pasted it, and I forgot to update it on the other 3 CC boxes. All right, so it is 749, 749, 749. All that's good. These are all good. Still the same switch. These are all the variables for CC4. Again, same picture, same image number, but different image ID. So picture number, image ID. Still erasing that. These are the variables for CC4. This is okay, updated, but these are the variables for CC4. All of these are the variables for CC4. And then, again, this stays the same except you're updating the variables. And then these stay exactly the same. Okay, so those are your 4 common events for viewing the characters, and basically all it's doing is it's re-showing all the values of all the information that you stored about that character, and when you click on it. All right, so that's those 4 common events. Now the last 2 common events. What happens if we select delete a character? Okay, so we decide we don't want that character, we're going to delete it. And as I mentioned in the last part 9, when we delete a character, we are going to have to make sure that we are setting things back up so that, for instance, let's say we're deleting a character that was a paladin, and they're the only paladin in the party. Well, that means that we can now have an evil character in the party. Or let's say we had an evil character in the party, we're deleting them. So now if we delete the evil character and there's no other evil characters, we can have a paladin now. We can create a paladin. So you have to accommodate for that in this common event. So here's the delete common event. Allows player to delete a character that has been created. Turn off all switches for races, classes, alignments, and strength bonus. So again, we were viewing them, right? So you have to view a character first in order to delete it. So things got turned on. So we're going to turn everything off. Turn off all the switches for races, classes, alignments, and strength bonus. Then we're going to erase the pictures 10 through 34. That was basically the information over here on the screen, using that script that we've talked about before. Conditional branches to determine which character was being viewed and is now being deleted. So we're going to have conditional branches for if CC1, if view CC1 switches on, or if view CC2 switches on, and then 3 and 4. So if CC1, if view CC1 switches on, delete character name and portrait. So these are the pictures that are over on the left side of the screen. The one is the name that's displayed, and one is the portrait. And then change the name back to default. So this is a event command, right? Change name. So you can see here, the reason it's this way, name 1 to change name 1 to name 1. The reason it's like that is because in the date when you're setting this up, you only have the choices of what's currently in the database. So it was name 1, and I'm changing it back to name 1. Now, if the player had created a character and renamed them, then this wouldn't be name 1 anymore. It would be whatever the player typed in. But this was really good. I was glad it worked this way. Once you rename it, this is smart enough, or whatever, it's programmed, that even though it says name 1 for name 1, this is really just the actor that is in that slot of the database. And then name 1 is what you're changing it to. So this works perfectly fine, even though the player is going to change the first reference here. You're changing it back to whatever your default name is. Okay, that's how that's working. Now turn the appropriate CC complete switch off. Okay, so in this instance, because we're in view CC1, we're turning CC1 complete switch off. Turn appropriate CC evil switch off. So again, we're in view CC1, so we're turning CC1 evil off. And then change appropriate class variable to empty string to remove paladin class reference if appropriate. So again, this is the variable for CC1 class, and we're changing it to an empty string. So 2 quotation marks with nothing in them is an empty string. We do not want paladin to remain saved in that variable, all right, because it will just mess everything up. Okay, so that is what has to happen at this step if we're viewing CC1. Then this is essentially repeated for the other 3 boxes. If CC2 switches on, then delete the picture numbers for that name and that portrait. So these are different picture numbers. And then change name, again, name 2 to name 2. And then these are updated. Turn off the CC2 complete switch. Turn off the CC2 evil switch. And then set the CC2 class value variable to a blank string, an empty string. So we're getting rid of the paladin reference. CC3 switches on, erase the appropriate name picture and the picture displaying the name and the picture displaying the portrait. Change name from name 3 to name 3. CC3 switch complete is off. CC3 evil switch is off. CC3 class variable is being updated to an empty string. Same thing for CC4. Okay, just make those same changes. Then we have, there are other ways to do this, but I will just tell you that sometimes they can be difficult to figure out, and if I know that this way works. So rather than try another way to do it, like with a script, and what I ran into, and eventually I'm going to have to ask for help on this. I think I've heard this before, and I don't remember what the explanation is. When I was trying to use, I'll just use as an example up here. When I was trying to use a script like this to say if a switch is off, or 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 on, right? If I was doing a check on 4 switches, and then I was trying to have it do something with a switch, for some reason I just could not get that to work. So I could get it to work if I was doing something with a variable, if I was checking the switches and then using a variable, but I could not for the life of me get it to work if I was checking multiple switches and then having it do something with a switch. I think there's an explanation for it. I can't remember what it is, and I didn't want to ask at the time. So instead, what I did was I said, you know what? I can do the same thing with nested conditional branches. So if CC1 evil is off, and if CC2 evil is off, and if CC3 evil is off, and if CC4 evil is off, so if all 4 evil switches are off, then we're going to turn off the evil party member switch, right? But if any of these are on, it's not going to turn that off because we have an evil party member still in the party. So this is, I mean, this isn't a terrible thing, right? It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to do. It's pretty easy to see what it's doing. So anyway, I just did it that way. So if 4 conditional branches nested, if all of those switches are off, then go ahead and turn this switch off. Otherwise, if any of these are on, that switch stays on. Okay? Then down here, script to check if any CC class is Paladin. If no, then turn Paladin and Party switch off. So remember, we were over here, we were getting rid of the Paladin string, right? We were getting rid of, in case the class had Paladin in it, we want to get rid of that. This is why. So a script, if the variable 746, which is CC1 class, if that is, this is not equal to, okay, so this is not equal to, exclamation mark equal equal. If this variable is not equal to the string Paladin, and if the variable 747 for CC2 class is not equal to Paladin, and variable 748 CC3 class is not equal to Paladin, and finally, and variable 749 CC4 class is not equal to Paladin. So if none of those are equal to Paladin, then turn the switch off. Paladin and Party is being turned off. If any of these are Paladin, right, then that switch stays on. So you don't even have to have an else here. You can just have the turn it off if all of these are true, right? If all of these are equal to the string Paladin. Show text to player on how to proceed. So this is just showing text in that box on the side that says select the box of the character you wish to create or view, right? Because we have characters we can view now. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm thinking about a possible thing that could have happened, but nope, it's still good. Okay, so that's just instructions to the player. Make it so all boxes or portraits are selectable, right? And we're going to do this depending on which CC box we're talking about. If CC1 complete switches on, then show portrait and make it selectable. So using the script for show picture, show the portrait that was chosen for character 1 with the appropriate variable, and use the button picture plugin to make it clickable. And then you'll notice it's calling common event 403 because that's view CC1, right? So it's a completed character, it can be viewed. Otherwise, if CC1 complete switch is off, then show that empty yellow border, right? The empty portrait with a yellow border, and make that clickable. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing for the other CC boxes. If CC2 complete switches on, show the appropriate picture, make it clickable, else, right? Otherwise, or show the yellow border empty box, make it clickable. If CC3 complete switches on, show the appropriate picture, make it clickable, or show the appropriate show the yellow box in the appropriate location, make that clickable. Same thing for CC4 complete switches on. Okay, same type of idea. Just make sure you're updating the picture, and the button picture, and the picture and the button picture. You got to make sure you're changing those. And then, as a final thing, erase picture 60, which was the play text that is written on top of the play button, because this is accommodating for if we had all 4 characters created, then the button, we saw this when we did keep. If all 4 characters are created, so if all 4 switches, CC1 complete, CC2 complete, CC3 complete, CC4 complete, if all those switches are on, then the word play is shown on the blank button that was over here on the screen. And so if we're deleting a character, then not all the party is not full, and in theory, if the button was active, the player can't start playing. So we're just going to erase that picture. Okay, and if the button had been clickable, remember I mentioned this in part 9 tutorial. That button was never clickable because it's not an active game. So the player couldn't click on it anyway because it wouldn't do anything. If that play button had been clickable so that you could enter the game, you would also have to make sure it can't do that anymore. So you'd have to you'd actually have to re-show the button itself, and then not do the button picture command so that it would no longer be clickable. Okay, and that's kind of what I've mentioned before. So that's the delete character. So if you're deleting a character, then that's how you get rid of them, and you have to reset everything so that when you go to create a new character, you're not restricted inappropriately because it thinks you have a paladin, or it's not restricted inappropriately because it thinks you have an evil party member. Okay? And then the last common event in this entire thing is the close option. So you're viewing characters, and so you've gone ahead and viewed a character. You decide, yeah, I want to keep that character. I want to delete it. So I'm going to click the close button, and that's what this is doing. Closes the character view that is being displayed and makes all the boxes or portraits selectable again. Because remember, once you go to view a character, the other 3 boxes are no longer clickable. So that's what this common event is doing. First, we're going to turn off all switches for races, classes, alignments, and strength bonus. Because just like with delete, right, we've viewed a character, so now certain switches are on. If we're just closing it, we want to clear everything out so that we can then either view another character or we can create another character. So we're turning off all of those switches. We are erasing pictures 10 through 34 with the script. We're then going to do this script, check if all switches are on to show that all 4 characters have been created. If yes, oh, that's exactly why I did that. Now I know why. If yes, then value of variable for process step is updated to 5. Else or otherwise, it's updated to 1. I think I referenced this in another common event. So when we delete a character, we know for a fact there there can only be a maximum of 3 now, right? So if the party was full, we delete 1, now there's 3. If we only have 1 character and we delete it, now we're back to just 1 character. I'm sorry, now we're back to no characters. So this is doing the option where we have our party's full, we have viewed a character, and we decide we're going to keep them, and we close them. So now it's going to say, hey, if the switch 292 is true, right, meaning that if I couldn't remember what 292 was, I know what it is, but if I couldn't remember, I'm going to go back to switches, and I'm going to go to 292, and it is the complete switches, right? These are the complete switches. So, if the CC1 complete switch is on, true, and the CC2 complete switch is true, on, and the CC3 switch is on, true, right, and the CC4 complete switch is on, true, right? So if all 4 of those switches are on, then set the value of the variable 745, which is the process step, to 5, meaning we're all done, or else set it to 1, which means that's back at the beginning of creating a character. So it's going to do this script to check if those 4 switches are on. Now, after we do this, now this is where I would have, if I could have, done a switch instead of a variable. But again, for some reason, I absolutely could not make it work. Where if I was checking switches, I could not do something with another switch. I must be doing something wrong, or there's a reason logically why it doesn't work. I can't remember. So I set a variable instead. So then what I do is I check the value of that variable. If step is 1, so if the variable 745 is valued at 1, then the party is not complete. So if CC step number equals 1, show instruction to player on how to proceed, which is basically select the box of the character you wish to create, okay? Or view, could be or view. Otherwise, right, if it's not 1, so it would be 5, but if it's not 1, then the party's complete. So update the text to the update what you display to the character as far as the message you want to display to them, that they can view a character or select play, and that's what this part is doing. Then make it so all boxes or portraits are selectable. So if CC1 complete switch is on, then show the appropriate portrait and make it clickable with the button picture. Otherwise, else show the yellow border and make it clickable. If CC2 complete switch is on, show the appropriate picture, portrait, make it clickable. Otherwise, show the yellow border and make it clickable. Same thing with CC3 complete switch and CC4 complete switch, right? So again, you're just re-showing the pictures and making them clickable. And then turn off all switches for view character, because again, we're done viewing, right? Don't know which one we were viewing before, don't care. We're just going to turn them all off. So turn off all the switches for view character. Okay. Now I am going to mention this, but I did this. You know, I'm not going to delve into it right now because I don't actively recall and I don't want to dig around. But I will just say this: if a picture has already been shown, right? So a picture is already shown, it's on the screen, but it wasn't clickable. You can just use the button picture command somewhere later, identify the picture and identify the common event, and you're good. You don't have to re-show the picture and then do the button picture. So if the picture has been shown and it's still on the screen, still on the map screen, hasn't been erased and then shown again or whatever. If it's been shown and it's still showing on the map screen, you can just use the button picture plugin later on to make that image that's already been shown clickable. So in theory, if these pictures were already there, I wouldn't have to show them again. I could just make them clickable. I can't exactly remember why I did it this way. Maybe it's because there's a possibility that they weren't there or what. I don't know. I don't really care. It's just safer this way. It does not hurt to re-show the picture. So if this actual portrait was already on the screen, and I could have just used button picture, it also doesn't hurt to just re-show the picture and then make it clickable. It doesn't hurt to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that in case anybody looked at it and said, you don't really have to re-show that picture, it's already there. Well, maybe it is. I'd have to go back through and dig through my common events and reason it out to say, are there any times when this would happen when the picture wouldn't be there, right? So I don't have to do that, I just re-showed the picture and made it clickable. Okay, and then that is it. Finally, that is it. So that is all of the common events, the two map events, and all the common events that make this particular character generation process work in RPG Maker MZ. So anyway, if you held out to the end, if you actually watched all of these, I applaud you, I thank you, I really hope it helped you. If you actually went through the steps of trying to recreate this for yourself, to learn from it, get experience from it, and then maybe have something to play with and build off of and manipulate, strong kudos to you, because this is a lot. But anyway, I really do hope that if you watch these, you learn something new, that you gain something that you can use later on for something else that you want to do, or that you can build off this, or if you can make this better, if you can improve it, that'd be awesome, right? Because this is all about sharing with people, helping them learn, and helping them on their path of their journey with RPG Maker. And so again, just trying to help out. And hey, if you are someone who knows how to do this stuff, and can do it better or things, gee, it'd be great if you would do this too. I love finding tutorials from people who are showing me things that I don't know how to do, and that I can learn from, and I can get a benefit from. So hey, strongly encourage people, if you can, make tutorials, share them with people, and because it will just help everybody. So anyway, that's it. That's the end. Tutorial part 10 is done. I hope this has been valuable for you, and again, I hope you're having a great January. I'm going to go back now to fighting with my scrolling adventure log. It's causing me some heartburn, but I want to kind of get that all cleaned up and working properly, so that I can share that as well, how I did that. Because again, I know there's plugins out there that do some sort of logs, like battle logs and things, but I'm going to I'm gonna make my own game. I'm doing my own battle system. I don't want to use the default battle system. I haven't seen a plugin that I'm interested enough in to try to do a different type of battle system. So I'm working on inventing my own battle system. So that means I am trying to figure out how I can make my own battle log. And I've played games that have adventure logs, right? That give you updates of what's happening as things are happening outside of combat. And so I wanted to see if I could do that too. And so it's coming along. I just need to figure out a few more things before I can follow up with that. So anyway, thank you very much, folks, for watching. Hope this is helpful as always. Again, I love reading comments, especially if you're giving me feedback and saying where things could maybe be improved, or if you have questions, or if you're telling me that other things that you've done, or that you've taken and built off of, or if you see a mistake. If you see a mistake, please point it out, because again, I've caught a few mistakes here, and there's so much here, it's easy to miss something, and I've tested this really, really thoroughly, but some stuff you just wouldn't notice until something weird pops up, and it happens to catch your attention, unless it's a glaring error. So if you do notice a mistake in any of these, please point it out to me. And then again, if you want to connect outside of here, you're welcome to message me on the RPG Maker web forums, the rpgmakerweb.com, the forums. I have the same username, Zombie Kids Rule, over there, and you're happy to go over and say hi, post on my status. You can send me a private message. It's free to join over there, and it's a great community. You can get lots of help over there and get lots of free resources too. So anyway, thank you very much, folks. Have a great day. Good luck on your projects. Happy game making. Happy game developing. I hope you're having a great time learning RPG Maker. And until I have a chance to do another video, or if anybody pops in and says hi on the forums, have a great day, and I will talk to everybody later. Bye.